I don't do a lot of reviews on this channel anymore just because they take too long to film, but I did need some help with this latest review because I knew if I didn't do this, I was never going to write it. So here we are. Hey guys, it's Madeline here. So today we're going to be reviewing the first EP, I think, from the indie band Thursdays in Suburbia. I couldn't find too much varied research into this band to formulate my own opinion of what they are, but as far as I know, they're a teen band in Riverside County, a place that I used to live, and they don't really have a specific genre they want to classify themselves as. They say they want to be their own brand of music, but I would say that they have mostly rock, but also a bit of grunge in there as well. I first saw this band live when they first came to my city back in like July, I think. I wasn't too interested in them, but that was probably half because the acoustic in that room made me feel like I was going deaf, but also because the other two bands that came before and after them were just more interesting than them. When I first heard their EP, I was super skeptical and I just didn't really want to hear it at the time, but then I came back to it on another day and I started to warm up to it a bit. Now, I get the feeling that I want to rate it higher than I feel that I should, but at the same time, it's not really something that I would sit down and listen to myself, that I would add to my personal playlist of songs that I would listen to on a daily basis. But I still have to give it to the band that this was a good EP. It was pretty solid as their first debut EP. For one, the band itself, every individual member of the band carries their own weight. There's a lot of bands where, like, the lead singer and then maybe, like, one other person or just the lead singer is doing all the work and then the other band members are just kind of there. But with this band, at least from what I can tell, most of them carry their weight and have their own specific strengths that make the band better. I mean, one of the most obvious things to notice on this EP is that the drums are strong, the guitars are strong, the vocals are super expressive. The way that the lead singer can growl with certain words and she can kind of scream out in how she's singing without actually screaming like you would in metal music. So instead of just making the volume in her voice louder, the way that she expresses her voice and how she's trying to kind of scream it out makes you feel like she's screaming in your ear instead of just talking louder at you. If there is one thing that I really loved about this album, it was the first track, Last Chance. Last Chance has the strongest riff out of all the other songs on this album. It starts off, I don't know if it's a guitar or bass, I'm sorry. I can catch on to the lyrics and I want to pay attention to the lyrics more than I do the other songs, and I especially like how right before the verse and the last chorus, instead of just building up to it, in the build up to it, we have a retard, which in music means to kind of slow down a bit, and then after that she starts again screaming out. I like the part that they slow down because it makes the chorus seem heavier in how she lands on her notes. I don't really understand all the lyrics, so I can't really say it out loud. In a way, the singer kind of reminds me of Billie Eilish, but at the same time, I've only heard like one or two of her songs, so I might be wrong about that. Then again, after we have that really good song, we have other songs that are just kind of okay or bad. I mean, for the okay songs, we do have another really good song, which was 1896. But at the same time, unlike Last Chance, I don't really catch on to the lyrics as much as I do in Last Chance. And I love the beginning because I'm a jazz kid, where they start with a big burst and then they kind of sizzle out, and then a big burst again, they kind of sizzle out. That was a really interesting way to start off the song. I like that it was something new. Most of the songs on this EP, I felt like they were kind of too similar to each other to be different songs. Most of the time when I was listening to this, like when I was on the bus and not really paying attention, I couldn't even tell that a new song had started, really, because they just sounded too similar to me. I do really like the chorus again. I think that is another thing that this band does really well. They have really catchy choruses that go well with the music. I love their solos as well, but also with going back to the choruses, I liked the chorus in Oh Carol, even though I don't really have much to say about that song. But then we have the only bad song that I would call on this EP, which was To Whom It May Concern. There was nothing really interesting in the song. It was super repetitive, not just in the structure of the song, just repeating the chorus a lot and having lyrics in the verse repeat, but even the chorus itself, it was a lot of the same lines repeated, and even so, I'm not one who is a fan of profanity, but putting that aside, just the profanity itself, how it's used in the song, it sounds more like they're trying to be edgy teenagers than they are actually trying to make a message in the song. So instead of actually trying to put emphasis on anger or something, they're more just saying it just to say being an edgy teenager. You know those teenagers that kind of just use swear words every 30 seconds just to seem cool. It's more like that. Probably the only redeeming quality about the song is the drum solo that happens at some point after the second chorus. As for Underworld, the other song I haven't mentioned on this record, it's similar to Whom It May Concern, but it's a little better than it. It just wasn't really interesting, it didn't catch my ear at all, it's forgettable, and most of the songs, when they end, they kind of lead well into the next song, which makes them blend and flow easily together. This song is kind of the odd one out because it starts, it ends abruptly, and then there's this like tiny break between the next burst and then the sizzle out with 1896. And it's a weird transition in my mind. The only reason why I'm calling this like the least song is because it doesn't add anything new. It has still the same expressive vocals. It's still repetitive like a few other songs. It doesn't really have any special qualities to the song like those really strong riff or the sizzle out that 1896 does. It's just kind of the song that's there and sitting there like before the last song of the album. I don't really have a lot to say about this album just because even though I want to call it good, it's just not something I personally say that I enjoy. I have to give it to them. They're one of the strongest teen bands that I know according to guitar riffs, solos, especially the expressive voice that the lead singer has. I can see them getting somewhere later and being able to create more interesting songs to me, but as for right now, as a first album, it's not strong enough. It doesn't catch my ear. There's too many songs that are similar to each other. I'd like to see some kind of variety with them. So, in conclusion, I'd probably give this album about a 6 out of 10. This video was really to be able to gather my thoughts for my written review, so if you want to check out the written and probably better review, click the link down in my description, and if you liked this video, maybe give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And until then, thanks guys for watching, and remember to play it loud.